How you guys doing again? I got a lot of comments on my Focus forum that I'm on, focusst.org, and as well as a whole bunch of comments on my actual YouTube videos I've been doing, asking, you know, hey, I don't have an ST3 with the premium Sony shit. You know, can I still use the same stuff? The answer to all that is obviously yes. I have a Focus SE sedan, doesn't even have goddamn cruise control, and I have the same exact setup in. I do have to turn the power levels up on the LC2i and the amp more, because obviously I'm not feeding it with an amp signal already like I am in the ST3, where I shove the stock amp signal into the LC2, which lowers the need for me to turn the LC2 and the amp up. So anyways, I'm gonna go ahead, I got the car behind me, I'm gonna go through, tell you everything you need to do, show you the wires you need to touch. Some of the settings are gonna be different depending on what amp you have and what speakers you have, but as long as you have the LC2, then you're gonna have no problems. You could also do, some people didn't have a bunch of money, they asked, you know, how can I make it better? These Infinity Primus speakers I used in the Focus ST I have in the previous videos, that is the 3 ohm setup, so you'll end up getting a little bit more power sucked out of your radio. I wouldn't go down to 2 ohms because I don't think the radio's 2 ohm stable, and if you live in hot climates, even the 3 ohm might overheat, because it's the more power it's gonna give, it's gonna heat up, and you might have a protection situation where the radio shuts off on you or blows a fuse. I can't be for certain on any of that because I haven't tried running low ohm speakers on a stock setup with no upgrades. So anyways, let's get into this. I'm gonna start under the hood, work my way back, show you what tools you need, and how I have everything mounted. So let's go on. So anyways, just so people can see, it's a 4-door sedan, base model, no turbo, nothing special. So anyways, for the power wire, Ford was nice enough to give me a little notch to put the wire in already, so I didn't have to drill a hole in the box. Thank you, Ford. So the speaker, the power wire goes through down at the steering column, where the rubber bushing's at, and I use 2 small self-tapping screws. You can see it sticks out enough but won't come even close to touching the battery, and I believe those are 3/8 inch self-tappers. So this is a 4 gauge audio kit. I don't ever recommend using anything smaller than 4 gauge, but anything bigger than 4 gauge isn't really needed until you start doing some crazy stuff. It's all personal preference and how much money you want to pay. So that's that. And if you guys are thinking about this intake, which puts the air filter right behind the fog light area, I love it. It makes it sound good, and I don't stall the car out anymore taking off from a stop, because I can actually hear the motor. So let's go in here. Alright, I already took the screws out of the radio. So this is the base model. As you can see, I got no fancy buttons anywhere, you know. So if you have this stereo or any stereo without an amp, I think everything I'm about to tell you is going to work. So to take this apart, if you haven't taken it apart yet, this little plastic piece is right here in between these 2 vents. Okay, you're just going to pull it out. The first time it might be a little stiff getting it out. Then there's a bolt here, or not a bolt, but a screw here and a screw here. Once you take those screws out, once you take those screws out, this whole unit just comes out. I like grabbing it here so I don't do anything, and then just slide it out nice and easy. Now it's only going to come out to about right here, okay? So you need to be aware that on the back there's a plug right here, okay? And this wire isn't very long, so you're going to have to unclip this prior to being able to yank this fucker off. So don't just yank on it and damage anything under here. So anyways, once this is off, go ahead, set it aside. Okay, next there's going to be two screws, one right here, one right here. This is the CD player part, and I think the brain's inside there too. So anyways, you can undo those two screws with a T25 Torx bit. For those of you that don't know what a Torx bit is, it's the star shaped one. Okay, it's a T25. If you don't have a kit, you can buy a single bit. They're like $1.20 or something. Anyways, then this just slides out like so. Okay, so the first time you're doing this, you're going to want to just disconnect the radio. I'm obviously not going to rewire anything, so you know, that's that. So what I did, this is the antenna. You have to push this little button. It confused the shit out of me the first time I did it. You see this little round tab? You have to push that and then it'll pull out. I was just trying to pull it out like every other radio I've ever had in my life, and it was fighting me. So yeah, that's that. Anyways, so what you're gonna do here now, the wiring harness, the speaker wires you're gonna use for the LC2 are gonna be straight purple, purple and brown. Well, let me rephrase that so you guys can understand a little better. Solid purple, purple with a brown stripe, purple with a red stripe, and white with a purple stripe. Those are going to be your two front speakers. Okay? You're going to want to use the two front speakers because the rear speakers, for some reason, have less power coming out of the radio itself. So you're going to want to go ahead, just use the front ones. If you buy an LC6, I believe it's an LC2i, that one you're gonna run, I guess, in front and rear. But for me, I don't mess with my fader a lot, so losing the fader ability doesn't make any sense to even care about it. Because I use the fader, I use the power gains on the amp as a fader. Okay, so anyways, you're gonna run these four. I don't have the positive and negative on me right now, but I will have it in the description below. So if you want to know what to wire where, look in the link description below. I'll have it all written out. So you're gonna send those four colors I just told you through some speaker wires. I'm using a 16 gauge speaker wire. You're gonna run this all the way to the back to this box. All right, then that's going to be your left and the right, and like I said, I'll have the wire colors so you know what's left and what's right. Then I cut the rear speaker wires, which is brown yellow, straight brown, brown gray, and brown white. I cut those from the radio and I just crimp capped them so they can't touch anything. So they're just non-existent. Nobody gives a shit about them anymore. They're done. Then these wires, these four, are from the 5-channel amp I have in the back. So these wires are powered by the amp already through the LC2 and all that stuff. Okay? It's going to be the same colors I just read off, plus the first set for the input to the LC2. And I'm just using the stock wiring harness to send all the power to all the door speakers through the factory wiring. Okay, I'll have that in the description below. And that's about it. Under here, you're done. Just put it all back together. This is a pretty easy setup to take apart and put together. That's that. Screw it in, slap the face on, put the 2 screws. So it's a 4-screw total project, which is nothing. So anybody can do this. You don't have to pay somebody at Best Buy or Audio Express or any of those other places to put this together. You can do it. Alright, next. Let's go ahead. Go in the back here. So the power wire I still need to wire loom this, but for now it's fine, but I really need to put some wire loom. Anyways, the power wire I ran all the way through, obviously like you would normally do it, down here, comes up through here to the amp. Okay, then I'm using little wires right here to run power from the main power and the ground to the LC2. Alright, so I'm just using the ground. I sanded a little bit behind that bolt, and I'm using a factory bolt for my ground, which is sufficient. There's no problems with that. Got a little 12-inch kicker CRV, and I'm just using 2 screws through this metal. It holds it really good. I don't have to worry about it. So let me show you what it looks like. I wanted to retain as much of the trunk as I could, but still get good sound. So this is a small box, nothing crazy. Sounds really good. It's one of them Best Buy specials. As you can see, I still have storage space up top, and decent amount everywhere else. I could probably fit in here, and I'm a fat ass, so. Alright, next. So when you do this setup, you don't need long RCAs. I'm in works right now with a company here in Albuquerque who is going to design me some RF shielded military grade RC cables. I know that's overkill, but they'll be cut exact to length from here to here, so, and from here to here with 90-degree angle heads, so everything fits all nice. Okay, so like I said, here are the 4 wires. These go to the back, coming up from the output. They go through the wires, down in the car, then behind the head unit. And those first 2, the pair of speaker wires, come from the head unit output all the way, and they come right here. If this thing will focus, it would be nice. There we go. Right here. See, speaker input left and right. One word of caution, because I ended up with a dead battery. The LC2 remote option doesn't seem to work very well on the base model. I don't know if it's a different way that they're sending the signals out or what. It just seems like the LC2 never shuts off in this car. The other car, you shut it once, you give it a couple seconds and shut the doors, the radio shuts off in the ST3. On this one, I came up in the morning, damn car's dead. So, for those of you that don't know where the wires are or nothing, I suggest just going out to Best Buy, giving the guy 20 bucks and having him run you a relay. So, relay is gonna run off. It's gonna run off your ignition. Okay, so he's gonna have to take this plastic apart. He's gonna have to take this one off, and to make it all nice and pretty, this one just snaps off too. And I hope you can, let's see if we can see it, if I can ever get this off. Well, anyways, you get the point. So behind here, there's a little opening that you can see in. I have my relay mounted. So this is mounted to when you go ahead, you turn the key to accessory, the ignition powers the relay. The relay is pulling power straight from the battery. Okay. Then from when the relay turns on, it sends the power straight from the battery through the other end of the relay, down through here. It just follows the power cable. And I believe it is the blue wire. Oh, sorry guys, I remember what I did. Instead of running another wire to the box, to the battery or whatever, I just ran a power wire out of here, from the power here, ran it to the relay, made it come through the other end of the relay, comes back through with this blue wire to the remote wire here. Then the red one goes to the LC2. It really doesn't matter where you pull the power from. It's not a high amperage draw. It's not going to kill you as far as, you know, having to have all kinds of thick wire gauge or anything. It's a very low current. It's just a turn on signal. So yeah, so that's it guys. I mean, there's nothing really more to it. I already went over how to set an amp on the last video. So I'm gonna have to say, pretty much, if you don't know how to set an amp, go ahead, look at my Focus upgrade why and how video number 3. Go ahead and look at that. Shows you everything you need to know. In this car, I'm not running those Infinities though. I'm running Kicker KS 65.2s. They're components, but if you don't have a component slot, like the back doors do not have a component slot. See, there's no tweeter up here, so you can just screw the tweeter in the center of the speaker and be all good. I think that about sums up everything you need to do. So until next time, wrench on.